All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Ooh, some people have not had their coffee. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming to my talk. I'll be honest with you, when I looked at the different sessions during this time period, I'm going against there's two AI talks. I was like, Jesus, it's going to be just me and you. So thank you. I appreciate you guys coming out. Second thing, big thanks to my friend Danny Thompson for putting this on and for inviting me. For those who don't know, he and I go way back. That is my friend. And I'm happy to see his personal growth, professional growth, and his commitment to helping others. That's not something he does for clout or like he just started doing. That's been him for the entirety of my existence of knowing him. We can go back to our boot camp days when we were both students and me just watching students going to him for help. But he's a student too, but he was doing a better job than the TAs of teaching the other students. It was crazy. That's who he is. I really appreciate him. For the video, let's clap it up for Danny, all right? So, Java. I'm a fan of Java. I'm a big fan of Java. So much so that earlier this year I made a tweet that you can do what you want to do, and I was low-key talking to JavaScript people, but not so much. I'm betting on Java, and my friend Kanika's like, yeah, that's an old school language. And there's another comment that you can't see because he's no longer on the platform, but Kelsey Hightower responded, betting on Java is like betting on English. Duh, it's everywhere. It's prolific throughout enterprise. And the fact of the matter is, Josh Love, who's a Spring Developer Advocate, is also a big fan of Java. He's a Google developer expert in Kotlin. He's a Java champion, a Vaadin champion. He's that guy. And he said, there's never been a better time to be a Java developer and Spring developer. There's never been a better time. And when he talks about that in his talks, if you've ever seen the Josh Love talk, he will do this demo where he shows like the speed, the performance, the energy consumption, and how well Java ranks amongst other languages. Well, I agree with him. Even when you look at our release schedule, the JEPs and the leadership, these releases that are coming out through these JEPs actually address needs of engineers down in the trenches, things that we're going through to make Java unlike your granddaddy's Java or grandmother's Java. It's a modern tool of invention. It's an amazing thing. So I totally agree with him. But bringing up Josh brings up a second quote that he made in a video. This is where I get to have my fun because we caught Josh saying, Vaadin makes me feel, let's say, makes me drunk with power. That's a pretty powerful statement, drunk with power. And some of you don't know what Vaadin is, so I'll give you the 30-second intro. Vaadin is an entire platform, a suite of products and services made specifically for Java developers who build on the web. It's not just a framework, it's not just components. It is an entire suite of services and products made for Java developers who build for the web, who build robust business applications for the web. So he said, Vaadin makes me drunk with power, but the second sentence is the one that sometimes gets me in trouble. He said, the UI no longer frustrates me. And for some of you traditional old school back-end Java devs, you say, wait a minute, Java, UI, Java front end, getting a little uneasy. So when I go around the country, this is my 11th talk this year in person plus 6 online, I get a variety of reactions when I talk about Java and the front end. Some of them are really positive. People have great experiences. They know Java, they know Vaadin. Many who have tried our modern frameworks of Hilla and Flow absolutely love it. Like when they touch it, like, where has this been all my life? But there are some other reactions. And those other reactions tend to fall under one of two categories. The first category is, Java on the front end, no thank you. You know. I'm from Memphis, that's how you say no thank you in Memphis. No thank you, hard pass. And the other reaction tends to be like, yeah, we've heard of that, but we haven't found a way to use it at enterprise at scale, so we'll pass. And that's how you say that in Memphis. And those are curious responses to me. Because if you know anything about Java, you know who this guy is. Yell it out. Who is this guy?
Duke.
Duke. What is Duke? Yell it out.
Mascot.
Duke is the Java mascot, but what was Duke originally? Duke was originally a cute little animated figure that appeared in this device. A device way before its time that was released in 1995 called the Star 7. And the Star 7 had an amazing UI. It had drag and drop. It had a touch screen. It was way beyond its time. Unfortunately, it never made it out of development to production, but it was an amazing device. And Java was originally made for the UI of this device. Wow. Let me say that again. The original Java. In fact, it's so old, you can see who was paying attention during Comp Sci 101. It's Java before Java was called Java. It was called Oak, named after the oak tree outside of James Gosling's office there at Sun Microsystems. So what I'm telling you is the original Java was made for the front end. So it's not a weird, esoteric new concept. It's just the way it's always been. That being said, we've split things apart. Before I worked with Vaadin, I worked with FedEx, and I did, and most of you do something that looks like that. It's separated by services, and it's also sometimes separated by teams, which in some cases can cause inefficiency because there's all this handing things over the wall or waiting for teams. There's nothing like having work to do, but you're blocked because the back end team didn't give us the endpoint, or the front end team didn't do that. And that's what you see very often in the decoupled structure, which gives you granular control. So you look at the scale on the top, that's the most control, but potentially the least productivity. So Next.js comes along and gives a JavaScript-like full stack solution. Like, we can combine some of this together. We can give you some more power. Let us help you with that. And Vinyl looked at all those models and said, we can do even better, but specifically for Java dev. So if you're a Python dev, you're looking for a Python solution, I got nothing for you. Just stick around, clap, smile. We are here for the Java team to give them the Next.js of Java world, the Jenga of Java world, right? And it comes in two different forms in terms of the frameworks. One is called Hilla and one is called Flow. Flow is front to back, 100% Java. You can code a full stack web application, modern, sleek, performant, responsive, and all Java. We'll look at some of that later. We also have a second framework called Hilla that combines the awesome features of React with the back-end structure of Spring Boot. We also support Quarkus and others, but this is the optimized case. React on the front end, Spring Boot on the back end, which many of you do already, but we tie them together for you. I'm going to explain how in just a minute. And we have a robust set of web components. So these are the bottom solutions. And we talk about tying them together, we're talking about communication. And we talk about communication, I thought it'll be fun to use some references from my past to help you understand communication. So we start with this. That is very soft. All right, this is Jonesy for those who don't know. Wow, why did the echo start? Not sure what I did. Talk to me. Oh, there we go. Awesome. This is Jonesy, a group from my past that I love. And this is one of their famous songs called Come and Talk to Me. And the lyrics say, come and talk to me, I really want to meet you. Can I talk to you? I really want to know you. So we have two parties, one that's initiating a request, and they're hoping for a response. Wouldn't it be nice if we could automate that? We could have it just take care of itself. And what we found is there's enough use cases in business applications where an opinionated version of that request or response between the front and back end is all you need. If you don't need that, you're always welcome to configure things any way you want using REST APIs or GraphQL, but there's a number of business cases for which the communication between the front and the back can be automated in an opinionated way, and we've done that for you. So let's look at it. Let's go to the code. Visual still good?
Yes.
Bottom, thank you. Good tip. Sinus enhancing rag. All right, cool. So this is a volume project. Let's just look at, so I don't want you to think there's anything up my sleeves. I want to show you what I've coded before we got here. First of all, in the client package here, there's a contact service. No, let's not start. Let's start with the model. In my data model here, I have a data model of a contact, a typical contact. It could be an address book, whatever, right? Name, email, phone. I've got my getters and setters. Nothing crazy here. This is just regular Java. By the way, where are my Java people? Old or current? Yeah. All right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That was really deep. I tried to go there, but no. All right, so this is a very regular contact model. Nothing crazy there. Contact repository, extending the JPI repository, get those CRUD methods out of the box for free. We like that, so that's coded in advance. I have a database initializer because, like, what is the app with no data? So I have a little initializer that when I run this app, which I'm going to do now, it is going to create 200 random people. That number is relevant. We'll remember that later. So 200 random people with names, emails, and phone numbers. It'll do that to me. And when this comes up, Spring Boot does its normal thing because I do have a Spring Boot backend. There's nothing to see here because we haven't coded the front end yet. But I do want you to see those service classes. Excuse me, those data classes. We also have service classes of contact service, takes in that repo that we just looked at. We have a find all method, a save method, find by ID method. You've done this 1,000 times. You do it in your sleep, as well as my CRUD service here, which again extends that CRUD repository service. That's all I've coded in advance. And the push service, that's from another demo. So I'm going to close those. We're going to go into the views here, into this conf view. This is where things get fun. So I'm a localhost 88. I run this locally. There's nothing to see here. You see that nothing to see here is in that H1. That H1 is important. That's an HTML tag, right? Mm-hmm. Wrong. this HTML, this H1 is a Vaadin component. So what you'll find, first of all, when you come to Vaadin's ecosystem for Java developers, most of your common HTML elements have an equal component in Java, which means I can stay in this Java class. You look, I'm in contact.java, and I can literally write Java that will show up in the browser with HTML, as well as many web components for common use cases. Starting from not the top, but from line 8 here, this root is how I'm going to root my page view. So I'm running to my root right there in the value. I'm using the layout of main layout class, which should be right here. Just for my routing, that is the menu you see at the top right there. What else? So we got a class called conview. Within my constructor, I'm taking that contact service we looked at earlier because I need some of those methods. That's where things are going to get cool. But we were talking about communication in front to back. So we have a lot of data on the back end. I want to see it on the front end. Like a CTO said in DevNexus last year. He said, sometimes I just want to see the data. I want to go to my backend team. You got all this data. I just want to see it. Just put it on the web. I need you to assign 3 sprints of stories to learn Vue.js. Just show me the freaking data. We got you. In my backend, so to speak. And backend isn't even good nomenclature for what we're doing here. This is really presentation layer and logic layer because it's all Java. So it's all running on the JVM. It's all backend. But there's a presentation layer to it. Watch this. So let's say we wanted a grid. And we're going to name it grid because we're so good at naming things. And we're going to import that contact class because that's the shape we want this to be in. We're going to import that grid because that's one of our web components that's going to come into handy. And from that grid, which is on the front end, let's get our contacts. Let's get those fake people I made. So let's just make a list of them. List contacts. I'm going to call it contacts. And I'm going to use the contact service class that we looked at earlier, that service class, and just call that find all method. Now this right here, if you're a more traditional front-end person or full-stack person, that one line 17 should be like a wow moment. Because I just callously call this back-end method from the front end. This is the front, this is the view, this is going to be seen in the browser. You already saw the new, nothing to see here. You should be able to do that, but it's all Java, so I can do it seamlessly. Don't even have to think about it. Whatever methods are on the back, whatever data is on the back is immediately available to me without extra work. Which means when we go back to here, we are being very productive. That's the whole idea. We're being very productive, all right? So back to the code, we get the contacts. With those contacts, we can now populate our grid. Thank you, Copilot, that's correct. We can populate the grid by saying set items. The way we actually view that in the browser is the add method. So that add method is in the constructor. It's going to add the entire component that we've populated. So this is how many lines of code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code gives me, too many of those open, gives me nothing. Okay. Oh, gives me that.
There you go. Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming out. God bless. Good night. All right. So we facilitated some communication. Good. So what other songs do we have? Because we don't have this one. That wouldn't be enough. So Jonas, you got us started. Okay, that's not going to work. Anyway, yeah, that's not going to work at all. This is a group called Jagged Edge. I'm not going to sing it, but they said, meet me at the altar in your white dress. We ain't getting no younger, so we might as well do it. Feeling you all the while, girl, I must confess. Let's get married. Are there any R&B songs like this anymore? No. They're all, it's Friday night, 75 degrees, I don't know. But this is meaningful. This is a song, and they're trying to get married. So they're going beyond the dating stage. They're trying to marry. They're trying to bind their resources and their love for each other. And I'm going to ask you to yell, heck yeah, in just a minute. Is there a need for data binding in web dev?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Let's do some data binding. How do you do data binding in Vaadin Flow? How do you do it on time? Ooh, I got to speed up. You use the binder class. We have a thing called a binder class, and it just works. There's a lot of stuff in the background, but we've made it for it to just work. So the binder class, which will be of the contact type, that's that same contact model from earlier. I'll just call it binder. And I'm going to use our new validation binder. So bean validation, yeah, that guy. I want that one. Because what I want to do is not only bind data, but I want to bind my form data from that contact model maybe to a form. It's a very common use case. We do that all the time. So from that binder class, we can now, what's wrong with you? These parentheses. What's wrong with you? Oh. Something's not cooperating. No. Go ahead. Start with. We're going to bind our form data to that one, to our model class. Let's see, does this look right? I'm going to try to speed through this. That's not quite right. So what I say is, let's make the form first of all. So let's do some text fields. Yes, we have text field components. And I'll make 3 of them to respond to the data that we have showing in our grid. Where'd the grid go? Oh, no, not that. How do you do this? There we go. Let's show them in our grid. So our grid had, a lot going on here. Our grid had, okay, import, all right, save, that will refresh. Give it just a moment, it's going to rebuild. We do have hot reloading thanks to Spring Dev Tools. All right, use binder instead. Being validation, binder cannot be used. Why not? We'll start with binder. We'll start with that way. All right, cool. Save that. I just want to see my page back. Build. And it's weird the way you see your you're used to seeing your monitor. When I'm seeing this flash, I'm thinking it's updating here, but it's not. There we go. Nothing to see here. That's great. All right, great. So we get a text field of the email, a text field of the name, text field of the phone, and then we want to bind them. So we have the 3 text fields. We want to bind the data in those text fields. The user's going to input to that model class, which is our contact class. So I'm going to say, as it's giving me advice for here, for the email field, binder for email, yes. You ever had your keyboard just decide to do its own thing? And that's not for email, it should be for field. Much better. For field email. Reason no instance exists. It's right there. Okay, tell you what, just in case I'm just typing things weird, I was prepared for this. We're gonna steal. We're gonna blatantly steal. I don't want to get trapped in minutia. We're blatantly stealing. I'm telling you now, it's on video. I'm blatantly stealing. Right? I'm emulating former working code. All right, fantastic. So with this binder instance, using the bean validator binder, which is the one I really wanted to use, 3 text fields, which are web components that are going to show on the UI itself. I'm going to bind each one of those text fields to its appropriate field in the model. And I don't need that there. That might have been part of the problem. Yep, red line gone. So nice. So now that we've done that, we've bound everything. We can, I don't want to add it yet. Let's make an actual layout. So I want to make a form layout. I'll call it form layout. That's cool. Import that. Yes, that one. Thank you. And then we'll take that form layout and we'll actually add those 3 components, the email, the name, and the phone, to the form layout. Good. Then we'll add the form layout to the view itself. Let's step back, make sure that makes sense. The big point about this was binding. We're doing binding between the text fields and the form layout. And you know what? I'm going to skip because I'm running out of time. This was so fast. We'll go ahead and make a button called Save Button. And within that, yes, that's the right one. That's the right one. Thank you. Within that Save button, we're going to go ahead and see if that looks right. Use that binder class to write the bean if valid. So it's going to use shared validation, which is very important. It will save the new contact, because we made a new contact instance here. It will save that new contact using the save method from our contact service. Fantastic. It will add that contact to the list of contacts we made up here, right there in line 25. It will then refresh the grid. And otherwise, yeah, just tell them, stop being weird. Yes, whatever. Just cooperate, browser. Thank you. Nice. The notification is a component as well. Should be able to import that if you spell it right. Yes, that one. Nice. Nice. You know, I told you there's going to be some Memphis pronunciations in here. Just listen to Glorilla speak. All right, anyway, that's that. So we made the button. We didn't add the button, though, so you won't see the button until we add it. So let's add the save button. There's a lot going on here for communication. That's it. Wow. So let's just go and make sure this works. It's going to refresh. The grid is still there. If you go down, go to the email. We put in a bogus email. We do get the validation, so that's great. We put in a proper email. Let's use one like mickey@yahoo.com with the name of Mickey, which should be there, and a phone number that is valid, and we save it. We should be able to go to the top and click the ID and see that record number 201 was saved. You can catch me afterwards, or definitely catch me online. I had more songs than I had Black Eyed Peas. I had so much. But catch me online at any of these. I love to talk online. Thank you for your time. Oh, wait, the picture. After the picture. I'm not a rodeo. Make sure my boss knows I wasn't just drinking the booze in 401. Weren't you though? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All the best.